Well, we have some good news this morning. Susie just informed me gold and silver are on a quote unquote rampage. Let's run out and take a look, and then we're going to talk about $4,800 gold. Big news from the top analyst in the gold and silver sector. We'll cover that, but let's go take a look at the gold price, guys. I think we have reason to be content. Wow, look at this. We're going to press the button here and get an update. $33 per ounce. The gold price is up. That is awesome. Silver up 54 cents. Come on, silver. Guys, the reality is once silver gets above $30, my belief is that we are absolutely going to skyrocket from there. And there's some other people that are coming around to our way of thinking. But who writes the book, the annual Bible, whatever you want to call it, for the precious metals sector? It's a guy named Ronnie Stoefferle. I think he's from Germany. Let's pull this up. I'll show you quickly what he writes every year. It's the In Gold We Trust report. This is a picture of the 2024 edition. Ronald Stoefferle. He's from Incrementum AG. This guy gets all the respect, and deservedly so. I was listening to him talk last night. He's talking about $4,800 gold by the end of this decade. Look, that could be low. Some of us think it could go much higher, but don't forget, we're almost into 2025. So the end of the decade is the next 5 years. Ask yourself that question. Would you be happy that 5 years from now we had a gold price at $4,800 per ounce? What about silver? I think we'd have triple-digit silver by that point as well, maybe even higher. But he had some interesting things to say. I listened to him give a talk last night. He said he pointed out this important point. We've yet to take out the inflation-adjusted high for gold. We were at new all-time highs. And hey, guys, wait a minute. Let's celebrate for a second. All right. As of right now, we know how it goes. But as of right now, silver and gold are, as Silver Susie put it, on a rampage. She was super excited. Nonetheless, if we get to the inflation adjusted high, we're talking $2,700, $2,800 gold. Guys, we could see like some rapid moves in the gold price. I know we're talking about the potential for a pullback, right? A little more of a consolidation, but that doesn't have to happen. We talked about that yesterday. There's no guarantee that that has to happen. We could be off to the races through the end of the year. $44 silver. $44 silver by Christmas. It's a little secret. Why don't you guys all join me and write a little letter to Santa? Dear Santa. And you know what? Right? I got a free 10-ounce bar of silver yesterday. I'm going to tell you about that next when we finish with Ronnie Stoefferle. And I'm going to tell you how you can get yourself a free 10-ounce bar of silver as well. Okay? Bull markets don't end at inflation-adjusted highs. That's what Ronnie said, right? Guys, higher highs. We got to, this is a fact of all markets. Whether you're talking about the oil market, whether you're talking about the gold and silver market, whether you're talking about Bitcoin or whether you're talking about Apple computer stock, when something gets to a new high, it very likely continues then to make newer higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. We could be in for a good run in the gold market, and silver, of course. Right? Okay. He says we're at halftime right now. A lot of room for improvement in Western participation, right? Western ETF, our neighbors. We talk about that ad nauseum. We can't stand our neighbors. And one of the reasons why we can't stand our neighbors is because they don't buy gold and silver, but they will, right? You're going to be regarded as like the hero of the neighborhood. Don't you worry. Okay. Central bank buying. Oh, this is interesting. I've never thought about this. We all hear it over and over. Central banks are buying gold. Why is gold up? I hear it, they ask the top guys, well, because central banks are buying gold. But think about this, and I'll credit Ronnie Stoefferle with turning this light bulb on inside my head. Central banks are sticky buyers. You know what a sticky buyer, what that means? That means they're not buying gold thinking, oh, we'll buy some gold this month and we'll sell it 3 months from now, or we'll sell it a year from now. No, central banks buy gold, and what do they do with it? They store it away as a generational investment, probably real similar to what you do. When you buy gold and silver, do you buy it as a generational investment? I do. I've never sold an ounce, right? I don't store it here at the house. I keep it stashed away. But nonetheless, when we buy gold and silver, we buy it as a generational investment. Okay. By the way, I got a problem. I did lose some silver. I'll try to remember to tell you that story here in a little bit as well. ETF, ETF outflows over the last 2 years. It's so critical to remember the precious metals prices have done well in an environment where money was coming out of the ETFs. I'm hearing everybody say this, and we're going to say it right now, guys. All the long-standing, or a lot of the long-standing relationships in the gold and silver market have been thrown out the window, right? It used to be that if money was coming out of the ETFs, out of the GLD, the SLV ETFs, that meant that the metals had to go down in price. That didn't happen this time. Money was coming out of those ETFs and the price was going up. That's a good thing. That's like running a record 100-yard dash time, running into a 10-mile-per-hour wind. When the wind shifts, when Western investors, and it's happening right now over the last 4 months, we've had positive flows into the ETFs. That will be more wind in the sales of gold and silver. And there's a lot more things that are the wind, more wind sources that are coming to the sales. We're going to talk about it all. Okay. The next wave of inflation could trigger gold mania. There's so much going on. We got more inflation data this morning. We're going to talk about that. Yes, inflation. I'm going to wait a little bit till I tell you, but guys, inflation is the new king for precious metals. Okay. All right. A hard landing in the economy could also be very good for gold and silver. Gold mining stocks are as cheap as they've ever been. All right. Even Frank Gistra, I listened to him last night, right? He's a legendary investor. Gold and silver mining stocks, especially the junior level gold mining stocks, the developers, companies like channel sponsor First Mining Gold, right, are at value levels that we've never seen. The opportunity, I'm not giving financial advice, but the potential for capital appreciation in that entire sector is so huge right now. And when that money comes back into that sector, that'll also bring more attention into the physical precious metals, which will be another source of wind coming into the sector. We're going to talk about why inflation, right, is now the kingpin for the precious metals. But let me tell you how I got one of these for free yesterday. Not this exact bar. You guys, this one's always, I keep a little bit of silver here at the house in the basement so I can show you guys. That's a 10-ounce bar of silver. Here's how I did it. Let me show you. Let me show you how I got a free 10-ounce bar of silver. Hold on. Let's go back here so you don't have to watch me. Hi, everybody. You can watch me struggle here. I'm trying to get to a picture. So yesterday morning, I'm like you, right? I'm waking up, got all this stuff I got to do. And Susie says to me, the shower drain's backed up. We have this recurring problem in our house about once every 9 months because my wife has beautiful, luscious long hair. I have daughters with long hair where our drains get backed up when our 2-story house, the 2nd story shower. And I'm like, oh, you know what it's like, right? Oh my God, I got to deal with this and blah, blah, blah. Usually I'm going to put a plug in for a product. This is how you can get a free 10-ounce bar of silver. Usually I use this stuff. Nope, wrong side. This stuff. It's called Thrift. Used to only be able to get it at plumbing supply stores. A plumber told me about it. You have to go to one of those back road plumbing supply stores to clean the drain. So I got my Thrift. I went upstairs. I'm like, I'm going to clean the drain out. Well, I took a shower first because I wanted to warm the pipes up. And anyway, Long story short, the drain was completely backed up, and you can't use that's safe on pipes. It's good stuff. You know what? I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. Anyway, I'm like, I got to get out this thing. So I got this out. Okay. Can you see that? That's our Cub Cadet tractor. And that is a snake, and it's hooked up. You can see behind it to my little Black & Decker drill. And I spent about an hour. This is why I was crabby during the live stream. I apologize to you basement dwellers. And by the way, it's a big deal you're here. Thank you for being here. But I apologize. I was a little crabby yesterday because I'd spent the hour before I went live on my knees with that snake, I think it's called, right? I got this one at Lowe's or Home Depot. I don't usually go to Lowe's or Home Depot, but I'd spent an hour on my hands and knees. And I mean, it was like 25 feet down the line. And I finally got that big goop of, yes, that's hair out of the thing. And I was done and I cleared it out. And you know what? I told one of my neighbors, I was like, yeah, I cleared the shower drain again. But he said, I had to have that done the other day. It wound up costing me $300. And I thought, you know what? I did that myself. I saved $300, right? By this disgusting hard job. That's a 10 ounce. That's this, guys. That's this. And actually, if you think about it, right? If you think about it, I'd actually have to earn like $500 to get the 300 to buy the silver bar. So the story, the moral. Now, what? Please stop showing the hair thing. Oh, okay. Anyway, so that's Susie on the walkie-talkie. This is my live stream. I will show what I like. Nonetheless, you'd have to earn $500, right? Pay taxes to have the 300, to pay Rescue Rooter or Rotor Rooter, whoever it is. I bought that snake thing for like $25. Learn how to do things for yourself. And the money you save, buy silver, okay? That's the point. That's the point. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the silver and gold market. That's what you're here for. This morning, we got this news. Okay, we got news. We're going to go out to CNBC, our favorite source of information. Ha ha. But nonetheless, wholesale prices rose. This is inflation. Guys, when it comes to the gold and silver market right now, nothing will trump inflation. Inflation, the Fed has become impotent. The Fed has been neutered. They may not like it, but that's the reality. Inflation is taking over, and it will result in much higher. And I believe that's why. Are you wondering why are the gold and silver price taking off? I think I have one of the good reasons why right here. It has to do with inflation. We got some employment numbers as well, but it's excluding, this is it right here, excluding food and energy, PPI increased 0.3%, slightly higher than the 0.2%. Inflation, the core PPI number came in higher than expected. Of course, the mainstream media isn't going to point that out, right? They're just going to say inflation's on, everything's great, everything's awesome. The core increase was the same when excluding other trade services. Inflation is going up. We're gonna experience much higher inflation, and this is before they're cutting interest rates. Okay, briefly, then we'll get back to inflation. Initial filings for unemployment benefits totaled 230,000 for the week. New people, 250,000 people filing for unemployment, and that was up as well. So why does inflation now rule the day, right? The old days are gone. We are in an absolute new territory, a new paradigm, a regime shift, whatever you want to call it. What proof do we see of that? Well, we see the proof like we talked of earlier, ETF outflows during the last 2 years out of the GLD, the SLV, money coming out. In gold and silver reacted exactly opposite of the way they should. They went up, okay? Now, we are in a situation where the Fed has become much less potent with their tools, with their ability to control inflation, to control the value of the US dollar. This all rests on a very shaky foundation of the fact that the US government has lost control of its fiscal situation, right? The $35.4 trillion in national debt. Inflation is going to drive the precious metals prices as we head into the coming years. And inflation is nothing more, okay, than devaluation of the US dollar. You can't, it's six or one half dozen the other. It's the same thing. It's the same horse by a different name. It's however you want to say it, okay? The Fed, and the Fed is even indicated, right, that they've given up on their fight on inflation. The Fed needs inflation, guys. You can't trust this character. And I think I can say this because he doesn't really work for our government, right? You can't trust him. No, I'm sorry. Okay. I know he looks trustworthy. He looks like an Eagle Scout, good guy, right? I've invited him here to the basement thousands of times so we could talk and he could explain to us why we should trust him, but we can't trust them. They need inflation. Inflation will be the new kingpin. It will drive the price of the precious metals in the coming months, quarters, and years. It will put a big smile on our faces, okay? Right? Because in interest rates, when inflation goes back to 8%, it doesn't make a lick of difference if old Jerome there raises rates again. If inflation goes to 12%, he could put the Fed funds rate at 8%, and he very well may, because think about this. Who's going to want to own the debt, right? They're going to have two choices: either print money and monetize the national debt, because nobody's going to want to buy that crud, right? Any other foreign country with a calculator can see what's going on in this country. So they're either going to have to let interest rates go up, right? Which it's a big mess, which will crash the economy further, everything. Or they're going to have to print money, right? Turn on the printing press, which is a simple way to say monetize the debt. Print money to buy the debt. It's a big circle. It all leads back to the same end result, which is the US dollar continuing to go down in value. So we're getting evidence this morning, further evidence that inflation continues. The core number, which is what they also call the long-term number, is taking off, right? Are you seeing it? I'm certainly seeing it. Let's go to a viewer comment here. See if I can pull that up. Okay. I thought this was a good point. This is from our friend Wayne Robertson. Said, hey, Ron, I heard you mention our truth. A lot of people I hear say my truth. And that's when we're talking about what's going on, guys. We talk about, I have my truth. You have your truth. You've heard that saying before. My opinion is that there's only truth, because truth is truth. And whatever is not truth is a lie. Truth always wins. Thank you, Susie. We got 100 thumbs up. Sometimes it takes time to come out. I always enjoy our visit to the basement. Let's ring the bell here, guys. And then we're going to talk about that, because what is our truth as precious metals investors? That's 10 rings of the bell. Susie's back with us helping this morning. That's for the 100 thumbs up. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you, the one and only you, the apple of your mommy's eye. You're a member of the basement. Welcome, right? You're part of the group. You're part of the clan. You're part of the gang, whatever we want to call ourselves. We really appreciate you being here. You matter. We want to hear from you. Leave a comment. As you just saw, your comment could be featured during a live stream, which would be viewed. These live streams are being viewed by tens of thousands of people. Okay. So please, you matter. Your thoughts matter. You're welcome here. Please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. That feels good to do, right? Doesn't it? It's a nice thing for you to do. And super chats, super thanks, donations, whatever. We never beg, but they're always super appreciated. So yeah, our truth, right, is that we know what's going on in the world. We know what's going on with the monetary system. We know what's going on with the fiscal situation in the United States. And we know that gold and silver have been valuable for thousands and thousands of years. Get a load of this. On that note, this is super interesting. This really got me to thinking. Let's go out to The New York Post. Archaeologists stumble upon priceless gold coins from an ancient empire in an unusual location. In Bulgaria, 5 Byzantine coins, which date back to the reign of Justinian the Great, were uncovered by archaeologists digging on a site in Debnevo in Bulgaria. The excavation, okay, the village, okay, here we go. The village, which is close to a 5th century fortress, has been the site of excavation projects for 5 years. A 5th century fortress. There's the coins. I mean, look at that. Aren't those beautiful? Okay. All right. Think about this, guys. What's the lesson here? Here we go. Justinian had ruled the Byzantine Empire from 527 to 565 AD. Okay. Now, what's important about that? Because I got news for you. This is going to shock you. One of your relatives could have lived in that village, right? 500 AD. You had relatives. I had relatives. We may share relatives that were alive during that time period, right? Okay. 1,500 years ago, somebody lost some gold coins. Okay. They're still as valuable today. Let that sink in for a minute. You know, I was talking with Lynette Zhang yesterday. I'll have an interview with her coming out tomorrow. And we were talking about that, the timeless value of precious metals. Right? 1,500 years ago, your great-great-grandpa to the 140th degree, whatever it would be, right? If he'd hidden those same exact coins and you knew where they were today, they'd be worth just as much, maybe even more than they are right now. But the other thing that Lynette and I talked about with the gold and silver market is not only is it timeless, guys, but it permeates every corner, every last inch of this planet. Nothing else. And she pointed this out. You got to watch this interview. This is the world's right now preferred reserve currency. Woo, look, it flies. It's paper money. It's based on nothing. There it goes. Okay. It doesn't permeate every corner of the planet. It doesn't. Sorry. Gold does permeate. Silver does permeate the market, the value, every last millimeter of land on the planet. The other fascinating thing, and we'll just talk about silver, but it's true for gold as well, but the sheer number of people that are involved in the silver market. She was holding up silverware, right? But just the pure number of people on the planet, like you and me, fellow basement dwellers, fellow silver lovers, right? That own silver. Those are market participants every single day. Where's that 10-ounce bar that I got for free yesterday? Every single day, I have a decision to make. Am I going to hold this? And you do too. Look at some of your silver, right? Am I going to hold this or am I going to sell it? I choose to hold, but it's not just us. It's more people. There are, somebody correct me, and no one's been able to yet. Tell me another market in the world that has more participants. The crude oil market? No, I don't have barrels of crude oil in my basement. Sorry, right? When it comes to a physical market, wheat, I can't store bushels of wheat or however they measure it, or corn. No, right? Silver and gold have more people throughout the world participating in the market than anything else. It's also the oldest market. It's also the wisest market. And as of just a few minutes ago, as Silver Susie aptly pointed out, the silver and gold market were on a rampage. We need to do an update. Take your high blood pressure medicine. Let's go out to channel sponsor Pimbex, Pimbex, and we're going to check the gold and silver price here in a second. I need to update it. That's not the updated price, but first I want to say thank you to Pimbex for sponsoring Ron's Basement. Guys, look, here's the reality. Without support from our sponsors, this daily broadcast is not possible. And what I feel so good about having Pimbex as a sponsor. It's a company that I trust, a company that I worked with before they sponsored the channel, right? I bought from them, I think 2 or 3 times, and was a very happy customer before they approached me, and I approached them over the months. Anyway, it doesn't matter, to sponsor the basement. I know that they do right by the basement dweller community. I've received overwhelming positive feedback. Okay, so if you want to get ultra competitive pricing, a great selection, and work with a company that you know you can trust, please talk to the guys at Pimbex. They can also help with IRA conversions. Now, let's do an update on the gold and silver price. All right, let's press the button, hold your breath, and okay, gold is still up $30 per ounce. Wow, silver, hi ho, silver, away. Everyone join me in saying yes, let's go silver. Let's go gold. You don't have to pull back. You can keep going, right? But don't forget, pullbacks will happen. Nothing goes straight up forever. Nothing absolutely goes straight up forever. Hey, we talked about a $4,800 gold prediction by the end of the decade, 5 years from now. What about a $4,000? This article, I made a video about this yesterday, but I want to run through it quickly here during the live stream, because I believe this is some critical information from our friend Niels Christensen at Kitco. With all the debt in the world, gold will only look overbought when prices push above $4,000 per ounce. Now, anybody can say that, but the guy that said it, Eric Strand, he's from a company called AUAG. Let's hold on here. Yep, there we are. Let's go down and I'll introduce you to him. Bye, Neil. And look at that. Gold. The gold market continues to consolidate above $25 an ounce. Yes, we know that. Look at this guy. Man, he's good looking, huh? Eric Strand, founder of the... Okay, so this guy is in Sweden. He owns a company called AUAG Funds. They have 40,000 investors, and he's saying right now that the fair value of gold is $4,000 per ounce. Woohoo! We like you, Eric, and you're easy on the eyes. All right. Maybe, did you guys notice I got a haircut? Maybe next time I'm going to get a cut like that. Says we're going to see volatility. 4,000, anything below 4,000 is cheap. Long term, the market is nowhere close to being overvalued right now, which means it's undervalued. He says central banks continue to increase the money supply. We see that on the U.S. debt clock. It's, just ballooning. We're at 35 trillion. The players may have changed, but printing and paper remain the same. He says that the only time gold was slightly overvalued was in 2011. Okay. And since then we had zero rate interest rate policy. But in 2011, the debt to GDP ratio was around 95%. Now the debt to GDP ratio is at 122%. And we know, they say anything over what? 120, 110, 130 statistically, no country has ever come back. All right. After hitting an all-time high above 1,900 an ounce, gold struggled after that 2011 high, but he's saying he doesn't see that happening this time. And there's no political incentive. Think about this, guys. There is no plan, no discussion within our government on either side of the aisle to rein in government spending, right? The deficit, the fact that our government spends what, $1 trillion or $2 trillion more than it brings in every year. There's nobody talking about that happening. So the reality is this is only going to get worse. The value of the dollar will only get worse. Strand noted that although the Federal Reserve has aggressively raised rates to bring down inflation, the global increase in deficit spending means consumer prices are likely to remain subdued for very long. Unlikely. I was like, wait a minute. Unlikely to remain subdued. He's saying what we talked about. Inflation, baby, is here to stay. That's why I'm a strong believer in gold and silver. They're the best protection against money printing. Although the momentum is waning right now, although it's not waning this morning, it's a short-term consolidation in that the Fed could be a catalyst for more big moves next week. Western investors are just starting to buy, as we can see in the ETFs. We talked about that earlier. Gold is significantly under. Oh, this is good. Gold is significantly underowned compared to historic norms. The global allocation to gold is around 1%. If that normalizes to 5%, it would be transformative for the gold price. Yeah, that would be about 5 times the amount of money coming into the precious metals sector. Are you ready for that? I'm ready, right? And I mean, if 5 times the amount of money comes into the precious metals sector, you're going to see the metals take off, and you're going to see the mining stocks take off like never before. There's still an opportunity to gain some exposure. As undervalued as gold is compared to his long-term price forecast, he said the mining sector is even more underappreciated. We talked about that early. Mining stocks are cheap. Okay. He says there's solid value in the mining sector. So, yeah, as he pointed out, 5 times the amount of money could be coming into the gold and silver sector. Is the economy crashing? I'm going to give you a quick view into my mail so 2 things I got in the mail yesterday. Excuse me. Allergies are killing me. I'm trying to mute the microphone for you when I have to cough. This came from a restaurant here in St. Louis called First Watch. Guys, they're back. Okay. I'm getting all these offers in the mail. Buy one, get one free. Okay. All right, guys, let's get the 200 thumbs up. We'll ring the old cowbell. Then I got this one from Zhang Chi, Chinese restaurant. And I look on the back. Look at that. It's full of buy one, get one free. What does that mean to me? Number one, I'm very excited because I love coupons. Okay. I love buy one, get one free coupons. It's like getting money in the mail. But what it means is these restaurants are hurting. I tell you, I'd be honest, right? Susie will tell you, and it's before my wonderful 19-year marriage to Susie, Silver Susie, I did have another romantic involvement, and I'll never forget one of the last things that she said to me when we were leaving was, and you always had to use a coupon when we went out to eat. And I said, good riddance. See you later. Right? Because that's like free money. So trust me, I keep a close eye on buy one, get one free coupons. They've been non-existent for the last 3 or 4 years. And now I'm seeing them come back with a vengeance because these restaurants are hurting. They're desperate for customers, right? People don't have the money to spend in restaurants. So now we're starting to get all of these buy one, get one free coupons. Let's move on here to a couple more quick. Here, silver. One more crazy situation going on in the silver market. From Kitco, Jordan Finesse, silver, self-healing breakthrough could be a game changer for electronics. We know silver, solar panels, microchips, everything else. This, guys, apparently is potentially a big story. Solid state batteries announced by Samsung, right? This is new news out of China. Here we go. This is what I want to cover just these 2 paragraphs. According to a new study published in Matter, researchers from the Institute of Physics of the Chinese Academy of Sciences have discovered that silver has the intrinsic capability of autonomously self-healing at the nanoscale level. The concept of self-healing in material science and engineering was inspired by the innate ability of some living organisms to self-heal. But thus far, the focus has generally been on soft materials like polymers and hydrogels. For solid state materials, so I guess that's like a solid state battery, why they call it a solid state battery, because silver is a solid state materials. That wasn't the case. So what they're saying is, and this is crazy, that silver, they're in China, they've discovered a way that silver is self-healing. And that got me thinking, do we need to be careful? Right? Here's 3 Morgan or 1 piece or 2 piece and 1 Morgan silver dollars, right? Listen to that. Our old friend silver. Do we have to be afraid that at some point I'm going to come down here and these things are going to be fused together? No, but on a serious note, it's another massive news story for silver, right? Its ability and applications to be self-healing. They're saying this could be potentially a new uncharted use of silver in the medical field, but also in the technology field. I mean, everywhere we turn, is it like every week we're getting some new major story about silver? And I heard somebody say this: silver improves everything that it touches. Whether you're talking about technology, right? Microchips, solar panels, right? Now the self-healing ability, silver just is shocking, and it's every week, right? Don't forget, last week it was Samsung in this new solid state battery that's being tested with Toyota right now. And they're saying that the first place Toyota is going to roll these out is in Lexus, their luxury brand. These new EV batteries that address all the major issues that people have with EV batteries. You know, I was at the store the other day, the grocery store, getting donuts with my daughter, and this guy pulled up in the parking lot in this really cool Tesla. And he looked like a nice guy. It was a really nice car. It was one of the Model S, I think it was, the big, and I said, hey, do you like that thing? He's like, yeah. I liked it a lot more when I first got it, but he was kind of complaining about taking it on road trips and having to sleep in the back seat while it's being charged. And guys, these new batteries, right, address all the big issues. They charge in like a fraction of the time. Okay. They weigh half as much. But they also use like a kilogram, it's estimated, of silver. So everywhere we turn, everywhere we look, what we're hearing are new innovative uses for silver. It's only going to get worse. And we know the reality is that there's less silver being produced every single year. Hold on a second. I'd really like to ring that cowbell. Can we get 200 thumbs up? Who can give us some thumbs up? And Susie will yell down at me to let me. You just need one more. We need one more thumbs. Okay, you got it. We got it. Okay, guys, let's ring the cowbell. For those of you who are new basement dwellers, number 1, welcome. You are part of the group. Number 2, we ring the cowbell when we get to 200 thumbs up on the days when Susie is able to be on the live stream. Let's go back out and get another update on the gold and silver price. See where we are. Okay. All right. $32. Wow. Silver up 61 cents. Wow. What a great day. What a great time to be invested in the precious metals markets. And guys, it's only going to get better. Okay. We got a top analyst, Ronnie Stoferle, reminding us, right, that he sees $4,800 gold. Right? I say that means triple digit silver in the next 5 years. Do you believe? I believe. If you believe that we could get to $100 silver in the next 5 years, type 100 in the comments, okay? And I'll read some of your names. Hello there, Silver Surfer. Good to see you, buddy. How many of us believe we could see $100 silver in the next 5 years? I firmly believe it. TC Boys, Silvershire. Hey, good to see you, Silvershire. Vincent, Craig, Nicholas, Brian, Albin. Look at all you guys. Blade, Jays, Phil, CM. If I missed anybody, Joe. Sorry, Phil, CM. The Lone Ranger. Hi-ho, Silver. Silver Surfer. Good to see you, buddy. Wes, GP, Greg Mann. Light of the World tomorrow. William, okay. $85 before the end of the year. Jake from Jake's Custom Parts going out on a limb. 120, Dustin. 1,000. Okay, here we go. 100. Okinaka, Nicholas, Dustin. Sorry, I forgot to read the names. Dwight, William. Tomorrow, Joe Cavey. Hope or belief? Not sure. Really? Yep, that's true. David Parrish, 200. All right, guys. Man, we are on a roll. That's where we're headed. Brian Kohler, when I was talking to Lynette Zhang yesterday, something came to mind, and I didn't get to ask her, so I'm not putting words in her mouth, but she talked about all these countries that had overnight currency revaluations and what happened to the value. Hey, thank you, Psyops. Sorry, guys, I have a really itchy throat today. Psyop says, if it goes that high, what's the chances commodities will just be priced in gold, silver, and no longer priced in fiat? Well, the argument could be made that, and I know what you're saying. I don't think that we're going to get away from the U.S. dollar being used in some way, some form or fashion. But really, Psyops, another way to think about it is, aren't other commodities already priced in gold and silver right now? The dollar's just another measurement, right? Like the euro, the dollar, silver and gold, they're all the same thing. If you're looking at silver and gold from a monetary perspective, and there's even this great chart that shows, and I know Rafi Farber's been following close attention to it, I believe, lately, which is like the gold to commodity index. So really, they are already priced in silver and gold. That goes back to my argument that we've never really gone off the gold standard in this world. Thank you again for that super chat. They fooled us. They put us in a dreamland where this is supposedly valuable. And I understand. If you grew up in this country or whatever country you grew up in, whatever your paper fiat of choice, whether it's euros or Canadian dollars, we're taught to believe, and it's very hard to undo that this actually has some value. But the reality is that gold and silver in these commodities are priced in gold and silver. Now, what I was saying earlier is, what about this idea of waking up one morning and the dollar has been drastically revalued? Because that's what's happened in a lot of countries throughout, happens in Argentina. It's happened hundreds and hundreds of times. I'm not predicting it. I'm not saying you're going to wake up tomorrow. But haven't we had revaluation in this country? Like when Roosevelt confiscated everybody's gold, what was that, 1933, right? And then essentially revalued the gold. Didn't we kind of have a revaluation, a slow motion revaluation of the dollar after 1971 when President Nixon took the United States off the gold standard? It's kind of like they boiled us all like a bunch of frogs, right? They took us off the gold standard. And the reality is that the dollar has lost 98% of its value relative to gold since Nixon took us off the gold standard. So that's what's going on. Hey, thank you to the moderators, Jake from Jake's Custom Parts, Big Tim, the Silvershire, and of course, Annie Oakley and Susie, right, from Susie's House, who's also known as Silver Susie. Thank you for being here today, right? You belong, right? We're a happy group of people that love silver and gold, right? You're always welcome here. And it might just make you even a little bit happier, because who doesn't like to be part of a fun group? I want you to come back. Please subscribe to the channel, thumbs up, and thank you for the super chats. Okay. Thank you for the support. Always super appreciated. Be good to yourself, right? Number one, treat yourself good and be nice to other people today. I know you will. I'll do my best as well. And I'll see you.